Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Del Tufo. I miss you all, and I wish we could be at school together, but since we can't, your teachers, Miss Sparks, Miss Schulfarth, Miss Lockhart, and Mrs. Casebolt, they have asked me to put together a video to help you with something very important, and it's probably something that's new to most of you. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to hold up something in my hands, and I want you to tell me what it is. Are you ready? Good, it's a clock. It's a clock. And can you think, I want you to think for a minute, why do we use clocks? That's right, we use clocks to help us tell the time. But why do we need to know what time it is? Can you think for a second? Maybe talk to someone that's close to you about why telling time is important, why we need to know how to do that? Think for a second. Did you come up with some good answers? Yes, I bet you did. So I was thinking, why do we need to be able to tell time? And some of the things that came to me were, we need to be able to tell time so that we are on time for school. That's right, we can't be late, so we have to be able to tell time. We have to be able to tell time so we know what time to go to bed at night, so we know what time to get up in the morning, so we know what time to get to our doctor's appointments or a dentist appointment. And you know what? Your teachers are always looking at the time during the day because they have to get you places on time throughout the day. What would happen if they didn't get you to lunch at 10:45 when it's your time, or 10:50? What would happen? Yeah, then the kids that come behind you would start to get backed up and we'd have a long, long line in the cafeteria. So we have to be on time for lunch. Can you think of another thing that we do at school that we have to be on time for? Your teachers have to get you to specials on time. If your teachers were late getting you to specials classes, then you'd be late for specials and you would miss some of the fun things that Mrs. Napier has planned, or Mrs. Ferris has planned, or maybe Miss Kennedy, or Miss Reynolds, or Mr. Calton, or Mrs. Deal. So we would hate to miss our specials. That would not be good. So our teachers are always looking at clocks to know what time it is during the day. So I'm going to teach you some things about clocks. So when we look at a clock, it's in the shape of a circle, and that's pretty important. Does anybody know what goes at the top of a clock? That's right, 12 is always at the top. 12 is always at the top of a clock. Do you know what comes after 12 on a clock? It's not 13, like when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's not a 13 on a clock. Yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's what a clock looks like. Do you know something else that this clock is missing? This clock is missing something called hands. These are called hands, the arrows on a clock. Let's look at the clock that I showed you at the beginning of our lesson. This one's red and this one's black. Do you see how the hands on these clocks are different lengths? That means that they are not the same length or amount long. Do you see that one is shorter than the other? Do you see how the red one is shorter than the black one? That's because these are called different and they mean different things. This one's the hour hand. And when you tell time on a clock, it's always important to start with the hour hand. Can you try to remember that? When you look at a clock, the first thing I want you to do is look at the hour hand. And the hour hand is the shorter hand. The longer hand on a clock is called the minute hand. I'm going to teach you a trick for how to tell these two hands apart. So the shorter hand is the hour hand. I'm going to write hour, the word hour. H-O-U-R. This is the minute hand. I'm going to write minute. Going sideways there. Now, I always teach my students that the hour hand is the shorter hand. The word hour is a shorter word than the word minute. Do you see how hour has 1, 2, 3, 4 letters? It's a much shorter word than minute. Minute has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So that's a really good way to remember that the hour hand is the shorter hand. It's the shorter word and it's the shorter hand. Minute is a longer word with 6 letters and it's the longer hand. When you look at a clock, I want you to always remember to look at the hour hand first. That's going to be really, really important. Okay, so now that we've learned some things about the clock, we've learned, let's recap. We've learned that a clock has a 12 at the top, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then back to 12. We've learned that there are 2 hands on a clock. A shorter hand called the hour hand, good job, and a longer hand called the minute hand. When we read time, when we look at a clock to see what time it is, it's really important that you look at the hour hand first, because that's going to be the first number that you write if you're writing what time it is, or it's going to be the first number that you say if you're telling someone what time it is. I'm going to teach you now how to tell time to the hour. And what I mean is, when we tell time to the hour, that means the long hand, the minute hand, is on the 12, and we say o'clock, okay? So this would be 10 o'clock because the hour hand's pointing to the 10, and remember, we always say that number first, and the minute hand's pointing to the 12. And that means it's o'clock, 10 o'clock. So we would write this time like this, 10, the number 10, and then a colon, 0, 0. That's how you write 10 o'clock. Or you can write 10 o'clock with words and actually spell it out. You know what? Annie and Moby usually do a pretty good job of explaining this. Maybe they can explain it a little better than me. Let's watch a Brain Pop video together. This one's on telling time to the hour.
No, Moby, it's easy quiz. It's not time for lunch yet. Look at the clock. How can you tell time? When you tell time, you look at the little hand first. That's the hour hand. The hour hand is on the 9. Next, you look at the big hand. That's the minute hand. The minute hand is on the 12. So the time is exactly 9 o'clock in the morning. O'clock means of the clock. We go to the computer lab at 10 o'clock and go to the library at 11 o'clock. Moby, those aren't our bags. How do you write the time? Now the time is 3 o'clock. I can write 3 o'clock using words, or write it using numbers and words. I can also write the time using only numbers. Well, first I write the hour, so that's 3. Then I add a colon to separate the hours from the minutes. Finally, I write how many minutes are past the hour. It's exactly 3 o'clock, so there are 0 minutes past the hour. You write the time to 2 places, so I write zeros in the ones place and the tens place.
Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you of that video. So when the minute hand is on the 12, that means it's o'clock, because it's not any minutes past the hour. It's 0 minutes past the hour. So we just say o'clock and we write it like with 2 zeros. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I want us to practice a couple of these, okay? I'm going to leave the minute hand on the 12. So these are all going to be o'clocks, where it's time to the hour. And if you have a pencil and a piece of paper close, could you grab it, please? I'm going to change the time on this clock, and I want you to try to write what time it is. Are you ready? Remember, we always look at the hour hand first. That's going to be the first number you write on your paper. So look at that hour hand. Remember, that's the shorter hand. And then you're going to put a colon, which is that dot dot, and you're going to put the 2 numbers that stand for o'clock. Can you write the time that this shows? Let's check your work. When we look at this clock, I see the hour hand is on the 1. We always look at the hour hand first. So I'm going to write a 1, and then I'm going to write my colon, which is that dot dot. And that minute hand is on the 12, which means it's 0 minutes past the hour, or o'clock. So it is 1 o'clock. And that's what it looks like writing it with numbers. You could also say 1 o'clock if you wanted to write it with words. Did you get it right? We're going to practice one more. And if you need some more practice with telling time, go back and watch my video again. Go to YouTube with a parent and ask them to look for telling time to the hour practice or videos with how to tell time to the hour. Okay. What hand do you look at first? The hour hand, the shorter hand. Very good. Let's do this one. What time is this? Can you write it down? Did you say it was 5 o'clock? That's right, it is 5. The hour hand is on the 5. The minute hand is on the 12. So that is 5 o'clock, which looks like this with numbers, or this with words. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap up this lesson on telling time to the hour. I'll be back very soon with another lesson on telling time, and that one we'll learn about telling time to the half hour. Bye.